So many of us carry similar thoughts, feelings, and experiences, and yet we don't share them with each other. We keep them to ourselves, believing they're ours alone to hold, to sort through, to manage. This podcast was born out of that realization, out of a need to stop holding everything internally, to name the things we usually keep to ourselves, and to remember that there is strength in being witnessed, in being honest, in realizing we were never meant to do this alone. Because when we share our stories, they stop isolating us. They connect us. They soften us. They remind us we're human, together. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour Sessions. I'm Erin, your host, and fellow human who's just trying to figure it all out every single day. What a journey it has been so far. Each episode has given life to topics that are relatable and relevant to so many people. And for that, I'm so incredibly grateful. Today, though, I'm not focusing on a specific topic. This episode is a reflection. When I started Sweet and Sour Sessions, I didn't really have a master plan. Don't get me wrong. As you all know by now from listening to past episodes, I'm very much a planner. But this podcast wasn't actually something I pre-planned. I had the idea, the dream even, of creating a podcast for probably the past 2 years, maybe even a little longer. But to be honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to podcast about. I knew I wanted it to feel like a conversation with your best friend, a place where people could listen in and recognize themselves or simply have those yes, same moments. Really, I just knew there were things I wanted and needed to say out loud, things I had been carrying quietly for a long time. And I figured there might be others who were needing to hear some of these things being said. Most of us move through life carrying so much inside of us. Thoughts we don't say out loud, feelings we downplay, experiences we convince ourselves we should be able to carry alone. We learn early how to keep it together, how to be capable, how to manage quietly. Somewhere along the way, we start to believe that whatever we're struggling with is ours alone to handle, that needing to say it out loud is a weakness, that asking for space or help or understanding means we've failed somehow. But the truth is, so many of us are living parallel lives, navigating the same questions, the same fears, the same quiet moments of wondering if we're the only ones feeling this way. More often than not, we aren't. And that's why Sweet and Sour Sessions exists. Season 1 became a place where I talked about control, safety, identity, self-worth, joy, being sensitive, being responsible, and most of all, being human. And what surprised me most wasn't what I said. It was what happened after I said it. There's something powerful about naming the things we usually keep to ourselves, about realizing that once you say something out loud, it no longer has the same grip on you. This season has taught me that clarity doesn't come from having all of the answers. It comes from being brave enough to ask the questions. I talked about moving back home, something I didn't realize so many of my peers had also done. I talked about control, not as a flaw, but as a response, as a way my nervous system coped. I talked about the shoulds we inherit, the bodies we learn to judge, and the joy we forget to protect. And in doing that, I learned something important. Most of the things we think make us behind or too much or not enough are actually just proof that we're paying attention. Season 1 was about my inner world, my reflections, my plot twists. But the truth is, these conversations don't belong to me alone. Because for every story I shared, I know there are 100 versions sitting quietly inside other people. That's where season 2 comes in. Season 2 isn't about being louder or deeper. It's about being braver together. It's about sitting down with others and talking about the things we all feel but rarely say out loud. Topics like friendship, emotional labor, money feelings, burnout, optimism when it's hard. Not polished conversations, not expert panels, just honest human dialogue. So if season 1 helped you feel a little more seen, a little less alone, a little more gentle with yourself, then I hope you'll come back for what's next, because the conversations are just getting started. Thank you for being here. This has been Sweet and Sour Sessions. I look forward to seeing you in season 2. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and like wherever you're tuning in from so you don't miss it. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.